everyone, and welcome to Topic Time with Harrison Young. I cannot believe, but I only have 2 shows left in October after today, and what an incredible run. And we have a very colorful dude guest, the infamous Dave Razor. He's up in New Hampshire, I believe. He's a comedian. He's a wrestler, former wrestler, but he looks like he could still do it if he wanted to. He's acted in a few films, and we're going to interview him. But of course, before we get to him, got to read these incredible underwriters, and then we will commence per usual. So we have the Berry Guys, little luncheonette around the corner here in Carver, right on Route 58. We have Angels Auto and Towing in Plimpton. Great to have them back. We have the Aishadi Church in West Bridgewater. They're a Brazilian community church, but anyone can go in there and worship, I guess. We have New England Floorscapes. That Aishadi Church is in West Bridgewater. We have the New England Floorscapes in Middleborough. We have Carver Jewelers, Ronald Iron, Langley, Delano Goldsmiths right here in the building in Carver. We have Jeffrey's Horse and Hounds, Quality and Tax, Saddles, Equipment, Show Clothing, Essentials for the Horse, Hound, and Human right down the road on Route 58 here in Carver also. We have the Auto Clinic and Inspection in Rockland. We have DNS Auto Works and Collision Specialists in Abington right here on Route 58 going in the other direction. And we have Countertops Express in North Attleboro, experts in the installation and removal of quartz and granite. And we have the Auto Shop in Hanover with Master Mechanic Ed Rooney. I want to thank you guys very much. And now the infamous Dave Razor. David Razor, or you go by David? It doesn't matter.
Dave is fine. The infamous Dave
cool.
Razor.
Okay. Is that New Hampshire? You're in New Hampshire, right?
I actually live right on the border of Salisbury, Massachusetts, and Seabrook, New Hampshire.
Oh, I love that.
The tainted New England, if you will.
Yeah. No, Salisbury, it's a beautiful area. It is. I was actually in a music video up in Salisbury 3 years ago. There's a little diner there. You might know it. It's on one of those side roads. How many diners are there in Salisbury? You've probably eaten there before because it's.
Unfortunately, a few of them have disappeared. So.
The one that I went to was probably still there because I think it was there since the 50s, and I was in a music video in 2021. And unfortunately, the woman, I don't want to say it too loud in case the wrong deity is listening, but she had a weird religious epiphany and decided that everything she did was a sin, including that video, and she ended up scrapping it. But not until it got over 6,000 views, and I got plenty of coverage in it. I played a customer in the diner tipping the waitress, not too generously, but that's the way customers usually are in a diner. You know that.
Yeah, right on.
Okay. All right, but we're going to talk about you, Nice. So are you a lifelong? Did you go up in New Hampshire? Because you do have a 603.
I did not. I did not. I actually moved up here 10 years ago from Florida.
Okay.
As many of your listeners and viewers may know it, where Grammy and Grampy's go to die.
Oh, okay. My grandparents all died up here, so
that's great. We are the retirement capital. So
yeah.
But I moved up here, and I've been here for 10 years. I'm on my 10th year, and I really love it. I live right by the beach. Hampton Beach is wonderful. Salisbury Beach right there. So
plenty of beautiful girls at Hampton Beach during the summer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely gets crowded with a lot of people.
Yeah. Okay. That is. I mean, I know you would make a doc humor about people going down there to die, but it is more common for people to go to Florida to move than to come from Florida up here. So, what was your motivation for coming up here?
Right. Well, it was just a lot of personal things. I got some offers and so forth in my private life with other business and so forth, and just ended up coming up here, and I've really been happy with the relocation. And after being up here for a little while, I got back into acting again, which I back in the 90s, I had been into acting and doing theater, and I did a couple of films and was really busy, and was doing some wrestling, and then real life crashes in sometimes, and next thing you know, I don't know, maybe over the next decade, I found myself owning a computer company and doing sales, and that was, making the real money in the world and for my world. And, so I ended up coming back up here and starting over and getting back into the entertainment business again. And it's been great.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so you started. Well, you did films and worked in entertainment in Florida too before you moved up here? I guess that's what
I did. That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
Okay.
I started down there. I did a couple of films that in early on, a couple of lower budget films, independent films. I actually owned an art studio there and worked with the Loft Theater Group that is now, they run the Tampa Bay Performing Arts Center.
Okay.
So a lot of growing over Tampa's theater background that I have, and then I left that and came up here and appeared in a couple of films, doing some background work. Got a couple of good buddies that are doing really good in that business, and there's just a lot more opportunity up here.
Okay, interesting. Well, what about stand-up comedy though? That's what I mean. That's what you're kind of known for, right?
That is what I am truly known for now. Excuse me.
Oh, take a swig. Go ahead, man.
One sec, sorry.
Sure, yeah. Hey, you don't want to be hoarse and you don't want to be choking on your own words.
I had that closer. So, yes, I do stand-up comedy from, all around New England, New Hampshire, Boston, even up into Portland, Maine. And I'm really starting to get more well known in that, and people are starting to recognize the name. So that's been nice, and a few more opportunities have been coming my way. So I'm really excited in that. That's all right.
Tell me a little about growth. Tell me a little about your wrestling career. I mean, you've done that too. Were you a professional wrestler?
I did. I was. I was a second generation professional wrestler. My father was a professional wrestler back in the 70s. And, so I got known, as like the little kid with some of those guys. And then when I turned 16 years old, I was already 6'1" and about 200 pounds. And
wow.
To be honest with you, I ended up starting early. I've always said that I'd love to write the story entitled it "I Was a Teenage Wrestler" or something like that. I was a teenage superstar. I mean, I got to have a lot of fun being the rock and roll kid with all these greats like Tommy Wildfire Rich and my boss Jerry the King Lawler, and all of these great names from the 70s and 80s that I got to work with. And then I ended up never really meaning to leave that. I ended up entering the military, was injured in Special Forces training, and then got out. After that, I ended up going right back into entertainment. That's when we pick up back where we were left off earlier with Florida, doing the theater and so forth, going to school there. So
where did you go to school in Florida?
University of South Florida. Go Bulls.
Oh, good. Okay. That's the team? That's the football team there? The Wolves?
Yep. The University of South Florida Bulls. That's in Tampa. I did not graduate. I'm not gonna push that. Not gonna lie. Military benefits or GI benefits ran out, so I never got my full degree. But I did live there, work there, and spent all my college years there.
Okay, and that was and how many years ago was that?
Oh goodness, that's 30 years ago.
Okay, all right. Well, I mean. So are you officially retired from wrestling, or are you still doing it? It's something.
Yeah, no, I am definitely physically retired. At this point, I am disabled. I can't do a whole lot. I've had a couple of bad injuries that have.
Not to mention the military thing too, obviously.
Right. Well, that took me out of that pretty much took my right arm from me. I mean, I can't fully straighten my arm out, so there's things like that I deal with, and that's not a big deal. But a bad auto accident of a drunk driver hitting us, pretty much that ended a lot of things for me. It damaged 7 vertebra, pinched spinal cord, sciatic nerve, all of that good stuff.
You're in damn good spirits, considering, I'd say.
What can you do? But kids, don't drink and drive.
Right. So exactly. Just don't. If you're going to be a jerk up behind the wheel, don't drive at all, regardless.
That's right.
Some people think they own the road out there. I tell you something. I'll be honest. I mean, just not to get too much off the subject, but I must toot my horn about 60 times every day when I'm driving, especially when I'm getting underwriters, because there's so many idiots out there that just come right. They come out. They come flying out of a side road. I mean, even a mail truck. did that to
Well,
did that
honestly,
years ago. It's unbelievable.
when I was
I don't
in-
think they were drunk either. They were just being, thank you. Okay.
when I was in Florida seeing all of these bad drivers with these northern plates, I thought it was just because they were elderly. And then I move up here and I see that they still drive that crazy up here.
The worst
See,
here.
it's not. I found it wasn't the age. It was just the location.
Yeah,
It's
true.
crazy up here.
Yes. Well, all right. Well, tell me where do you do your stand?
Yeah.
Let's talk about your stand-up comedy. Where do you perform
Okay,
it?
let's do it.
Where do you get your? Where are you most of your gigs around? Like Boston and New Hampshire. Where do you perform them mostly?
Well, I just recently did a couple of gigs that I'm kind of branching out a little past Boston. I did a nice place at Steve Sweeney's Comedy Den in the Fox and Hound in Quincy.
Funny you should mention Steve Sweeney, because I was just
room there.
he was a guest on my show 6 years ago tomorrow, and we were just talking about that. But
Oh,
okay,
that's great. Yeah.
yeah,
So, yeah,
wow.
yeah. Just was there, for a mic and talk to him. Got a lot of encouragement before the show, so that was great. He is the king of Boston comedy, as they say.
Oh, he is.
And then in Hanover, the Rec Room, boy, is that a crazy place. It's a big, giant sports a facility, and they
Okay.
have a nice room up there. And we actually had a show, four of us, opening up for an AC/DC tribute band. So
Wow.
that was a fun night. You got a little comedy and a little rock and roll all together. But you can find me working on material at the Winner's Circle in Salisbury on Tuesday nights a lot of times. You can find me almost every Monday working on stuff. Just we do the open mics where people can come and try new material. Get a lot of great comedians there, and that's on Monday nights. At the Grill 17 and here in Seabrook. So
Okay.
right near my home, and nice little home microphones, I guess you would say.
Okay. Hanover's right near here. I mean, I'm in Area 58 in Carver. Hanover's only 2 towns from here.
Right. So I've actually been talking to a couple of other promoters about would I travel to do some shows in Rhode Island and further away in Massachusetts there. So
Right.
yeah, I think I'm about to branch out a little bit like that.
That's awesome. Tell me about those plaques you have on the wall. Looks like you got a lot of awards or degrees of some kind behind you.
Well, actually, I have set lists. I am a concert junkie.
Okay.
I have. If it wasn't for the fact that I am just not that great a singer and don't play, I would have been a rock star instead.
Okay.
There's an old saying that all stand-up comedians secretly just want to be rock stars.
And maybe vice versa as well.
Right. Well,
Right.
so I meet a lot of bands. I get signed set lists and have them laminated. So my entire office here, all the way around is filled with signed set lists and posters from bands.
Oh, okay, cool. All right. Well, you want to do a little stand up as long as you're there. I mean, it's up to you. Or
Sure,
sit down, stand up.
absolutely.
Like a
tell you a
little bit. See
Well, I
if
can
you
tell
can
you a
match
little
Jack
bit.
Lombardo. He cracked us up that day.
Oh yeah, Jack's a great guy. I'll just tell you a little bit about myself.
Okay, go ahead.
Let your viewers get to know me. They call me the infamous Dave Razor. It is like famous Amos, but only with more skeletons in the closet.
Okay.
He was known for his cookies, and I've always been more of a brownie man. So
Okay.
take that as you will. Now, as we said, I did have a background in entertainment before I got into comedy. And recently I have been trying to get more into the movie side of things, and I've been going to auditions. Now, I was called about a role that was described as a witness to the Book of Mormon.
Okay.
You know the Mormons, right? Those people
Yep.
that ride up and down the street for miles and go door to door spreading the good news. And do you see me here? When a guy like me knocks on the front door, people tend to run out the back door.
Okay.
Honestly. The Mormons are doing the work of angels, and I look more like I collected for the Hell's Angels most of the time.
That's true. Wow, all right.
And you got to be in shape. All right. These people are riding their bikes all day and walking up and down the street. And I don't know if you were able to see me here, but honestly, if I could make it 3 blocks right now, that would be pretty freaking good news.
All right.
They're like the Jehovah's Witnesses, and I'm more like Colonel Sanders' witness nowadays. But
Oh boy.
you know, I try to get by. I've been trying to lose weight. I did actually lose 20 pounds over the summer, and I've really been happy about that. Actually, it was more like 25 pounds, but I got to thinking about how much of my set revolves around me being out of shape, and I kind of panicked. Honestly, I hit the next buffet I saw. I am now the only person to ever be able to say they walked out of a Golden Corral feeling better about themselves.
All right. Okay. That's good. Yeah, you're good. All right. There's nothing. That's great how you can berate yourself, and that's the best thing. You got to be able to laugh at yourself without a doubt.
If we can't make fun of ourselves, we definitely shouldn't be making fun of anybody else. You know.
Yeah, that's absolutely right.
Start at home, and I think comedy has been watered down lately. Like, people are afraid to make fun of other people, or afraid to poke at this group or that or whatnot. And frankly, I'm old school. I grew up listening to Richard Pryor and Red Fox and George Carlin and these guys who poked fun at everybody. And I mean, I hope that comedy can come back around to that. Till then, I'll just keep poking fun of myself.
You know who Sarah Silverman is, right?
Oh, of course. Yeah.
She's my cousin.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah,
That's
I know. She's. I mean, the reason I'm bringing her up is because I haven't heard much of her lately, but when she's on stage, at a public event, she usually blasts as many people as she can think of off the top of her head too. So, I guess she's got the old school still in session for the far as stand-up comedy is concerned. All right. Well, tell me about some of the films that you've been doing. Let's talk about that.
Well, I've just gotten into the background community here. I'm just now starting to audition for speaking roles up here.
Okay.
But a couple of the early films that I did were speaking. There was an independent film that was the first film released on Troma Video. Now, you might know Troma Video from The Toxic Avenger and a lot of great 80s horror schlock like that. They were fantastic in a genre, and they decided they wanted to open an art house film genre department. And so our film Electra was the first film on that new label, and it has since been titled Electra Love 2000. But that was my first film appearance, and then after that, I was in a horror film back in 2000 with Tom Savini, who is best known as one of the great makeup artists of Hollywood. He did all of the makeup for George Romero in the Dawn of the Dead, Night and Day of the Dead, all of those movies. That was all Tom Savini's makeup. He was in Dusk Till Dawn, from Dusk Till Dawn with Clooney and Tarantino. So he was in that. I got to do a little bit part in that. And then up here, I was in I Feel Pretty with Amy Schumer. Just background stuff. The highlight of the day was I got to have lunch with Dave Attell, and he's such a great
funny.
guy.
I love David. He's hilarious.
Fantastic guy. We got to sit and talk about Hampton Beach and wanting to do his show, Insomniac.
You remember him? You remember Dr. Katz, professional therapist John Katz?
Sure.
Do you remember David Attell's bit on Dr. Katz? He was crazy.
Oh yeah.
He said, I want to plan your murder, Dr. Katz. I'm planning to murder you. You remember that? I'll tell you something. If you're having fun on my show, I'd love to get David as a guest. If you could get him, that would be awesome. But have you ever done?
Unfortunately, we didn't exchange numbers. Just got to have lunch.
All right.
Got to have a nice talk, but that was great.
I'm looking at you, and have you ever done anything any chance of you being in a mob film at all? Because you kind of look like you could be.
That's funny because I have not done it, but I did. I did have some photos made up recently, some professional photos, and we
Okay.
deliberately did some with like my coat and my scully cap and all just to look like that. So fingers crossed. Well, I've got it all on the Boston casting site, and that's who I'm linked up
All
with
right.
right
Well,
now.
you got your name on Boston Casting's website, so they email you whenever it looks like there's a role for you, right?
Yeah, that's it. That's it. So,
Okay.
and then I mean, you're just out there in the crowd, one of many, but hey, well, hopefully some things will come that way.
No, I saw on your Facebook page that you're a writer as well. I know you've probably written some jokes too, but have you ever written anything else, like any film scripts or any?
Right. Actually, I have several film treatments. Never a full script. Just the ADHD that I battle has always really prevented me from writing something from beginning to end. Whereas, like with jokes, I could come in fast. And I'm a songwriter. I'm actually a prolific songwriter.
You have written some songs too. Okay.
Probably around 40
Wow.
that are worked out and are good. Unfortunately, I never had the voice to be able to be the singer.
What about the idea of selling them to other people that could sing them?
That's always always brought up. It's always a topic, and it would be great. I don't really know where to start and get into it. It's one of those I would love to fall in that situation to where meet
Well, it
somebody.
might be plenty of opportunities. I think social media is the way to go. Just like I do to get guests for my show.
Right. I am truly having to embrace social media at this point because it affects everything. It affects our reach. It affects even getting bookings because if you can make people laugh and bring a lot of people who see you, as opposed to somebody else can make them laugh but has no reach, who's going to get booked?
Exactly.
We're dealing with something totally new facet to self promotion at this point.
Exactly. And on that note, we're under 5 minutes. I hope you had fun talking to me.
It's been great.
Okay. No. So on the remaining time, what I want you to do is to give a few shouts out to people that are going to see the show. Condense them, but I guarantee we're going to get a lot of views. So go ahead, and then we'll wrap the show up with my snap and the way we began it.
All right. Well, the people that I want to thank right now, then, the Reels or No Reels guys. These guys are putting on great comedy, open mic every Monday night. Have really embraced me since the beginning and given me a lot of just support. And to Scams Comedy, Dave Radigan over there, Winter Circle has one of the longest running open mic nights around, and I started there 3 years ago. And have gotten nothing but great help from those people, and I really appreciate all that support. And one I would love, this has nothing to do with me. It's just I want to throw out there a good buddy, David Pridemore, is in an upcoming film EEPHUS. That's EEPHUS. It has just taken Cannes Film Festival by storm.
Sweet.
And it is playing around now.
Well, I know David because he and I are Facebook friends, but I don't know if I hope he'll do my show at some point, but that's up to him now. Now that he's done that. Okay. All right. Well, is there anything coming up on the horizon real quick that you might want to mention that you don't want to forget before we end the show? If not, that's fine, but I check that with everybody that I interview.
Right. I am pretty much I'm doing I have no, giant booking coming up right now. So I am pretty much just working on my set and developing it even more each week. You can catch me at some of these open mics and the occasional scamp show.
Okay. All right. Well, then I'm going to ask you one last favor. We're going to wrap the show up. Will you stick around and let my tech guy take a pic for Facebook, and I'll tag you, and you can tag me if you want as well.
Sounds good.
All right, folks. Another great episode of Topic Time is in the books. I may not be here for a while because my tech guy is going on an Asian jaunt for a few weeks. But if he gets back, I'll be back. And if somebody wants to produce my show here before that, I'll be back before that. But either way, we're wrapping up another great Topic Time episode. So signing off and rolling out.